South Korea's president says he will lift martial law. This is breaking news now. South Korean president saying he will lift martial law after parliamentary vote to block it. The president says the cabinet meeting will be held as soon as possible. So some breaking news to bring you now. The South Korean president saying he will lift martial law. Right, let's talk to our correspondent Dominic Wackhorn. Dominic, what's happened?
Yeah, well, this looks like, and I'm not quite sure what the source is, but it seems to be a wire agency snap, so it'll be reliable that President Yoon, who announced the imposition of martial law in a late-night bombshell announcement in South Korea a few hours ago, is now saying that he will lift martial law. So going back on what he did after the parliamentary vote to block it. So he announced, stunning everybody, that martial law will be imposed in South Korea for the first time since the early 80s. That led to absolute crisis, chaos around the parliament, South Koreans racing to the scene to try and surround it and protect it from the security forces they're expected to move in to impose martial law. Some reports of soldiers trying to get into the building. Some key parliamentarians, including the Speaker, unable to get in, having to climb a wall to get in. And then a very tense standoff, it seems, between protesters and those security forces who are in combat gear, or certainly in khakis. But the MPs were able to get into the building and they were able to reach a consensus and voted to overturn that imposition of martial law. Now, under the South Korean constitution, that should have been it, and they made that clear. Opposition leaders came and spoke to the cameras and they said anybody who imposes martial law after that vote would be breaking the law. But the Defence Ministry, crucially, said that it would wait to see what the president did, and until he suspended martial law, they will continue maintaining it. So there was a period of real uncertainty and I think a rather febrile atmosphere, particularly around the Parliament. Grave concern expressed by the US State Department and by the British government as well about their nationals there, but also about the situation. South Korea is such a key regional ally for the West, a bulwark of democracy and stability in the region. And it looks now as though the crisis has been diffused if the president has done what he's reported to have done, which is to say, yes, he agrees that now the Parliament has voted to overturn what he did earlier, he will suspend martial law. There's going to be a cabinet meeting, which we expect will then lead to martial law being lifted. So I guess the expectation then is the crisis is diffused. There's no reason for the security forces to stay out on the streets, which they have. And what we're seeing here is they're moving, and we think, to sort of maintain law and order, not to impose any kind of martial authority. But there was tense scenes as they were dealing with protesters who were very angry, very worried about what was going on. So the expectation, I suppose, is that they will disperse from the scene once the crowds of protesters will do so as well, and you'd expect them to do so if they feel that the crisis has indeed passed and the threat to democracy has passed as well.